And welcome to Today in the Napa Valley, the Napa Chammber Edition. I am your host, Chris Templeton with Influence Internet, an online marketing firm, and I am super pleased today to be here with you and sharing three pretty cool businesses in town. Two wineries, actually, I forgot about that, and one Napa Valley Marriott Hotel and Spa. But we are going to start with and welcome Laina Brown and Elaine St. Clair of, ready for this, St. Clair Brown Winery. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure. St. Clair Brown Winery. Now, I was driving down the road a few weeks ago, and I saw this new building over on what corner is that?
It's right off Soskel and Vallejo, on Vallejo.
Soskel and Vallejo, so kind of kitty corner from across the street from Umpqua Bank and all that. And there's this neat looking building. I want to say cute, but it's more than that. It's not just cute. It's cool looking.
Oh, thank you. I think you're talking about the glass greenhouse.
The glass greenhouse. That is what I'm talking about. So tell us about that.
Well, we're an urban winery in the city of Napa. And so on the corner of actually Vallejo and Action is our winery. It's 5,600 square foot winery building.
Right.
And that will also include a microbrewery and a restaurant. And across the street are culinary gardens. And we have about 5,000 square feet of culinary garden. And in the garden, we have a glass-paned greenhouse that we also will serve food and wine. And it's just a little space to be in the garden. And that's what you're seeing. That opened a month ago. 1 month.
So you just started planning this, a couple of weeks before that? Or?
Something we threw together. No, we started in 2010. Elaine St. Clair and I have worked together at two other wineries for about 12 years. Elaine's a winemaker and I'm the president. And when the winery, we were most recently at Black Stallion Winery. And when the winery sold, we decided it was time to join forces and start our own brand. And so we started the planning for this project, and we met with the city of Napa, and they helped us with the logistics and figuring out the best place to be with zoning challenges. And it's been really amazing being in the city and being part of the city merchants on top of being a winery.
In what sense? Why is that?
Well, it's such a community. And, when you're in the valley, and the wineries are very, very connected, and they have their own community as well. The valley really is a nice network.
Right.
But you are out on your own, and being in the city, with all the other merchants, and everybody's so supportive, and it's like being in a little neighborhood. And we're all locals. We all live within about 15 minutes of the winery. And it just feels really connected, like we're really connected to our city on top of being a winery. It's really been an amazing experience that way.
I've been doing this show for 7 or 8 years now, and I'm always shocked at what a community it is, especially downtown, and with so much going on, and it's still the little town that could, and it's almost there. But you guys doing what you're doing, it's part of what's we need downtown, right?
Oh, well, thank you. When doing this project, it was a big undertaking for Elaine and I, and we really just looked at what we wanted and wanting to be part of our city and do something that really reflects the locals and how we really live in the valley, with great food and great wine and just sharing it on site and how we could bring that to the city. And so it started the urban winery, urban garden, urban brewery. So we really try to look at what we would like to have in our city as well. And, it's such an exciting time that we wanted to bring something as well as doing our own winery project, which is, of course, the first, where we first start from is the wine.
Well, and I mean, it's a pretty big undertaking. Winery, brewery, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Restaurant, and then the tasting,
the greenhouse in the garden,
where you can taste and have a little something to eat. So you've got the winery in production now, is that right?
Yes, the winery is in production. We've been making wine since 2010 for the project at an offsite facility that belongs to a friend of mine, and but we've moved the production into our space and we'll be ready for this upcoming harvest.
I think it's just amazing how much you've got going on there. And one of the things to keep in mind, folks, is that, what you guys are doing, I dropped by yesterday, and Laina showed me some of the plans for that building, which is not the most attractive building currently, let's be honest. But it's going to be a beautiful little project that you've got going between those two corners.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think we are in an industrial area, but I think we are kind of the last eyesore on the block. Everybody's done such a great job of renovating their spaces, their buildings. But yes, we asked. We're working with James Jeffrey as our architect, and we asked him to design the building to maybe look like something you might see in San Francisco, an industrial storefront. So we're hoping that it blends well with the area. And
it's going to make the area look fabulous. I mean, it really is a lovely looking. The rendering that I saw, it's like, yeah, that we're moving on up.
Oh, thank you. So the front of the building on the corner of Soskel and Action will, when it's finished, will have 2-story, 19-foot windows all around the front with accordion doors that can open. It's really about enjoying the space and being able to be outside and just relaxing and enjoying food and wine. So we tried to create a relaxed space that fit the industrial area and was maybe still intriguing.
Well, I tell you, I'm impressed with the vision just from the standpoint of I could not get to that place without seeing the drawing, looking at the old building the way it is, and thinking, "Oh my God, where you're taking it." I suppose that's why you have an architect. But boy, oh boy, it is going to be a lovely, lovely building, and it's going to increase the whole look of the area. Now, talk about the plan moving forward. You've got the winery now in production. You have the greenhouse where you can taste and have a little something to eat.
So the culinary gardens are planted now, and we're developing them for the restaurant. And we added the greenhouse as a space to be in the garden because we want to be in the garden. And so the next phase is finishing up the cellar to get ready for harvest, and then we'll work on completing the brew house and the brewery, and then the full restaurant will come last, because the restaurant is really a place where the food, the wine and the beer and the culinary gardens come together. And so, in the meantime, we do the small garden menu in the greenhouse, and rather than a traditional wine tasting situation, we design this for the locals and for us and the way that we enjoy food and wine. Right. We want people to sit down and enjoy the wine with food while they're tasting. So that's the environment in the greenhouse. The greenhouse location, and it's mostly, as you saw yesterday, it's mostly an outdoor kind of experience,
right?
It's all about being around the garden. It's a working garden, so we're out in the garden, tending to the garden, watering, harvesting, while people are on the terrace of the greenhouse, which we thought would be an interesting experience.
Explain a little bit about the culinary garden and what that means. This is really something that's kind of popped up in probably the last 5 or 10 years. I think the first place I noticed it was up at Mustard's, was their garden. But talk a little bit about what that is and kind of how you got there.
Well, when we decided that we wanted to have an environment where we shared our wine with food, we're not restaurant people. We wanted to serve food that we knew could be the best quality possible. We knew where it came from, could be as fresh as possible. The same approach we take with our wine is it starts in the vineyard with great fruit. We wanted to grow our own foods and get to the point where we're serving it same day that we've picked it. So everything is done sustainably and heirloom whenever possible. And we worked closely with our chef, and Elaine and I designed the garden. Elaine really manages the garden and did the bulk of the design. And with our chef and culinary gardener by the name of Peter Jacobson, who lives in Yountville, and he's consulted us on some of the varieties that will grow best in our area, that will give our chef the flavors that she wants. And it evolved from there. So the menu will always include what's fresh and what is in season. So we have core dishes that the chef changes out based on, as I said, what's harvested.
Right.
And it's, our chef is Norma Witt, and she came from Bardessono Hotel, where she was growing from their gardens, which is what we really liked about her. So I think it's a unique approach as a chef to be able to change your menu daily and be inspired by that. So that's a lot of fun. And it's really, again, mirroring the way we all live in the valley. Most of us grow something in our yard, even if it's just a lemon tree or herbs.
Right.
And that was really reflecting that. But
I tell you what, we're going to take a break. We are here with Laina Brown, president, and Elaine St. Clair, who's the winemaker, brewmaster, and tender of the garden at St. Clair Brown Winery. We're going to take a break. We're going to do a commercial or two and come back with more. Stay with us. This is Today in the Napa Valley, the Napa Chammber Edition. And we are back with Today in the Napa Valley, the Napa Chammber Edition. I'm your host, Chris Templeton with Influence Internet, and I am here with Laina Brown and Elaine St. Clair from St. Clair Brown Winery. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Talk to me and our audience about this kind of whole vision, the brew house, the winery, the restaurant. It's so huge.
Oh, thank you. I know it's just a lot of layers and a lot of pieces, but again, when we started this,
You're gluttons for punishment. Is that it?
No, we just wanted to do something that reflected us, and we didn't want to get bored. So we know we're going to be here.
Yeah, boredom's pretty much off the list at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we know we're going to be here for the rest of our lives doing this project. So when we came together on this and we approached it that way, what do we want? What inspires us? And Elaine's been making wine for about 29 years. She's a graduate of UC Davis in fermentation science with a focus on winemaking and brewing. And
Which is unusual in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit unusual. I actually had a microbrewery for 10 years in the 90s, late 80s and 90s, when it was first kind of Sierra Nevada was getting a good start, but it was called Napa Ale Works.
Yep, down on the corner of 29 and Jameson Canyon, right?
Mm-hmm, that's right. So, I've been back in the wine industry since we sold that business, and just developed a lot of wonderful relationships with growers. So, I guess my background's a little eclectic, so that's why the project is the way it is a little bit. But I just think it's nice when you're tasting wine to be able to enjoy food with it, and to have an option if you've been tasting all day, you want to come back to Napa and have a nice fresh glass of beer. So, we're really just trying to kind of envision, what people would want and what we would want if we were up visiting, or just our lifestyle here in the Napa Valley. So. And
the brewery is, when we sat down and looked at this, and Elaine said she'd love to brew again someday, my background has been in predominantly the wine industry and promoting wine, and I was a marketing director at Domaine Carneros when I met Elaine, and then I was the founding president at Black Stallion, and have consulted with other wineries in developing their wineries. So that's kind of my strength, is developing projects and the experience with the customer side of things. But I've not distributed beer. I said so. We kind of just looked at our strengths, and we wanted to brew beer for the love of it. And so we will have a full production brewery. We'll grind our own grain, but it's a small system that will brew about 250 gallons a day, so that we can change it often, and it'll always be fresh. So we're actually running the lines from the finishing tanks to the tap, so that it'll always be fresh on tap. And so again, it was just a combination of the pieces of what we love and want to do, and wanting to share wine and beer with food. We're all really focused on eating fresh food, and we're huge supporters of farmers markets. And Elaine grows a lot on her property in Coombsville, where our Syrah vineyard is, and I'm been getting more and more focused on the quality of food, and it's a big responsibility to serve someone food.
You bet it
we
is.
want to know where everything comes from. We're not using anything GMO, avoiding soy and gluten, just out of the sheer fact of wanting to serve healthy food, and the flavors that can come out of fresh, well grown produce, and starting it from there.
It's a complete change in kind of perspective versus I'm just going to steak and potatoes or.
Well, and it is a garden-inspired menu, but we do include some meat as well. I mean, it's certainly, because of the healthy approach, it does support people who don't eat meat or are vegetarian or gluten-free, just again out of the sheer fact of trying to serve healthy food.
Right.
But we serve a duck confit potato salad, certainly not vegetarian.
Right.
Quite delicious. And we do.
Elaine's got this huge smile on her face.
That's another fun part of it, is working with such a talented chef as Norma Witt. So we get to have our influence on our favorite things that are served, and the magic she does with them.
We are getting close to wrapping up. I've got about a minute. When you look at this last 3 years, you seem like you guys are so clear on your vision, and I'm sure it didn't just come to you right out of the blue. When you look back at the last 3 years, what are you most proud of?
I don't know. I think just we've tried to approach everything with integrity. We've kind of done things as well as we possibly can think to do them. And we're just regular people. We don't have lots of money behind us, so I think that I'm proud of everything we've been able to accomplish. To get all the permits we needed, and really to come up with an amazing design for the future restaurant.
And so, wrapping it up, I'm really impressed. The one thing that you said, Laina, earlier, and you also said it yesterday, is this is a commitment for life, isn't it? I mean, for as long as you're working, this is going to be it.
Yes, absolutely. And because of that, as Elaine said so well, we really want to do everything the best that we can. We need to be able to look you in the eye and look in the mirror and feel like we did that. But we make wine and beer and grow. So we try to treat people as well the best we can, and create the very best products. And that's something that I think we can always feel good about.
Well, it's clear that you do, and it just seems to come from a really nice place versus we've got to do the best. It just seems kind of relaxed and lots of smiles, and it seems like a great team. Laina Brown, Elaine St. Clair from St. Clair Brown Winery. You can be reached at 255?
255-5591 if anyone has questions, because I'm sure there are a lot of questions.
Yeah.
There are a lot
go
of pieces.
see the greenhouse, and I think what you guys should do is post those renderings of the building across the street. People are going to be like, "Oh, you guys are cool."
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
You guys can be reached at 255-5591 and at St. Clair, no E, stclairbrown.winery.com.
stclairbrownwinery.com.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
This is Today in the Napa Valley, the Napa Chammber Edition. We'll be back after these messages. Stay with us.